Hello everyone, Mr. Dawes here. Welcome back to another DozCast episode. I'm joined with a very special guest today, the one, the only, Nikki frickin' Muffin. That's right.
Hello, hello.
So, Nikki, tell them what you do.
I do a lot. The list just goes on, but standard, usually, I'm a cosplayer. So typically, I'm just posting costumes of characters, video game, anime, original stuff. I also stream on Twitch, make cringy TikTok content. That could be its own category, I guess. And occasionally promote parties, cons, and products.
Very nice.
More like that. I would say that's a little resume.
Well, let's not forget you have over. I should have had this pulled up already.
Depends where we're going. The
23
numbers vary
23,000
greatly.
followers on Instagram. I'm just gonna do your
Yes.
Instagram. I'm not gonna have a ton to pull up
Okay.
YouTube
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Twitch.
The numbers vary. The numbers vary. TikTok is also really big. That one I think is almost 50K.
Nice.
Um, and then YouTube died for me, but maybe I'll go back to YouTube. YouTube has like I don't know 1,600, I think approximately.
Nice.
And then we're almost at like 1K on Twitch, but almost not there yet.
Almost.
Follow my Twitch, please. I need more people on Twitch.
Well, you heard her, everyone. Anyway, today's topic for the DozCast is, of course, cosplaying, because, what else are we going to do while we're here? Anyway, so I've got a couple questions here that I'd like to ask you. Please do answer them to the best of your abilities. And if there's something that makes you
Oh my god, I didn't
uncomfortable...
know that this is like an interview to become a citizen in America.
First question. Are you a citizen of China at all? Okay, no, we're not doing that.
What? Excuse me?
No, we're not doing that. I'm not some greedy ass. What's the word I'm looking for? Politician, I guess I'll say.
Alright, I see.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
So, what's the first question?
All right.
There was like a pause. I was like, wait, was that a real question?
No, I was making fun of
Okay.
a story that I'll have to tell you about later.
Okay.
So, first question
Play
is,
the clip.
what got you into cosplaying?
I've been cosplaying for a long time. I'm not gonna say Halloween because also like I come from Russia, so we did not have Halloween there. That's not really a festival. So coming in here, uh, there was Halloween, so we were kind of like, all right, cool, interesting. But once I started doing like Halloween with my friends, where you kind of don't have to dress generically, like I don't know, trying to think of like uh, not culturally appropriating costumes or like a cop or a nurse or something. Whereas it's like, oh wait, for Halloween I can dress up as like characters from like video games that I like and things like that. So me and my friends would be dressing up as that, and then I think like freshman year of high school there was a anime convention that my friends like found that was kind of local and kind of small at that time, and then they're like, "Oh, like we want to check it out because we all like anime, we all like watch and play video games and like collect figurines, and none of us been to a con before." So they're like, "Okay, well if you go together as a group and maybe like dress up all together as a group, then it would be kind of fun." So we did that. So my first cosplay was like Vocaloids. I mean, Hatsune Miku is iconic now, but back then, if you were involved in the anime community, you knew Miku before like Fortnite. You knew OG Miku. So we did a Vocaloid group cosplay, and back then like Amazon did not exist. Like you either get, if you're lucky, you get your costume from eBay, but most of the things you have to make yourself. So we all made our costumes, or like assemble it because there's a lot of like music videos, and we pulled different vocals for that, and we went together to that, and that's when I got addicted to dressing up because after that one experience at a con, we were like, oh god, I love this, I want to do more of that, and then I've been cosplaying ever since.
Yeah, no, my stories are really, really freaking different.
Oh
This,
yeah,
this,
yeah.
this,
I want to know how you got into cosplay.
I may or may not have been doing it to impress a girl I liked at the time. She literally,
Okay.
she told me that she was a huge fan of the show Supernatural, and her favorite
Oh
character
my
on the show was, of
goodness.
course, none other than Dean Winchester. And
Oh, not Castiel? I don't know. I was very into Castiel. I was cosplaying Castiel.
oh wow, no, no.
He
For
was
me,
my favorite.
every girl who has ever said they like that show, it's always been simped for Dean.
Okay, okay, you're right. You're right. You're
And,
right.
so when she told me this, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I tried to get into the show. I got like one season in. I just fell off of it.
Kind of like Monster of the Week was kind of a good vibe until they tried to make it complicated, like down like past season 5. Like that's where I dropped off.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like you can. I think it's a good time to go back and rewatch it. It's gonna give a good nostalgia vibe.
it probably will. It's been years since
Plus,
I've
at
even seen
that
it.
time, you didn't want to. You weren't invested in the show because you wanted to actually invest in the show. You were trying to figure out how to cosplay a character. So
Yeah,
now you might have a clearer intentions to
that's a
really
good
invest in the
point.
show.
So she randomly just sends me like starts sending me like pictures of these Dean cosplayers, and she's like, look how cool this is, and I'm like, I bet I could pull this off. So
Hint, hint.
I slicked my hair back. I put on a nice leather jacket, and I tried to pull off the Dean look as best I could. It was not good, but I tried.
I mean, did she like it? Was she was like, oh my gosh, Dean cosplay?
No, she was like, that's fucking cringe, bro.
But you could be cringe and free. Cosplay was cringe also a different time. Back then, cosplayers were cringe, and that's fine. We had like yaoi paddles. If you ever went to like an anime convention, like you'll know like yaoi paddle incidents.
All
And
right.
things like that. So it was a whole different. Okay, yeah, that's a whole different history of anime conventions.
Okay.
But we were all cringe, but at least you were surrounded by people who were like down to cringe with you. So like, we didn't care that like somebody else comes in and be like, "Ew, like what's this, you weirdo?" You know. You and 20 other Mikus and 20 other Dean Winchesters and Doctor Who's are behind you, having the best time of their life. Who's really winning here?
Yeah, true, true. So yeah, that was my first
Would you
cosplay.
go and redo your Dean cosplay now?
I
Or would you
might,
be like, nah, that's not my guy, I don't vibe with him?
I might, but I'd want to watch the show more because
Okay,
the only reason I was doing it then was just because
exactly.
I
Get the
liked the
lore.
girl, and now when I cosplay, I usually cosplay a character that I at least know something about or already like them. But yeah, that's what got me into cosplaying, and just from there on, it was like TikTok was listening in on me because next thing I know, my whole feed is cosplayers, and I was like, damn, I could probably do this a lot more and probably do it way better too.
Exactly. I also like that's how I got into TikTok because I kept seeing an ad of this one cosplayer doing oh my gosh, what is it? It's that web comic with like all these like gray skinned characters. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember this. Um I can't remember this. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. But yeah, but somebody was doing that cosplay, and I keep getting ads on Instagram for that. And I was just like, you know what? I'll download TikTok to just see that, and then gazillion cosplayers too. So like TikTok was downloaded because I saw ads of cosplayers on TikTok.
Nice. No, I already had TikTok on my phone, so it was a clear sign that they were
Oh yeah,
listening in.
no, I was down to not get TikTok until I keep seeing cosplayers. So I was like, all right, I'll get the ad. I'll get the app.
Well, you already answered this other question, which was what was your first cosplay?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was Vocaloid. I did Mako. She is one of the original Vocaloid family. I don't know if I need to go into the lore of the Vocaloids. But compared to like Miku, Rin, Len, and Luca, like her and Kaito are kind of like a little bit less popular, but they're still part of the like OG family. So like it worked because also like I guess like I don't know. I'm a yapper, so you tell me when I should should stop. So, um, but at the time when I first started doing cosplay, obviously like I crafted everything. It was pretty easy because like character design was like pretty simple. But I also did not wear wigs at that time, so I was actively trying to cosplay characters that had the same hairstyle as me, so I didn't have to do. And Mako had the same hairstyle as me, so there was like very little work to do. But looking back, like I think I posted a while back of like before and after, like honestly, like as you get more into cosplay and you like explore all these new things, whether it's like crafting methods or makeup or like hair and wig styling, you kind of improve over time. So you're not coming in like ideally. Like looking at the photos back when I first started cosplaying, I was like, oh god, like that looks so silly. But now I can still take the same cosplay and enhance it with all these new skills that I acquired. So back then, again, cosplay that I was just like I have to look as like normal as possible. So I'm gonna have my own hair. I'm gonna have the same hair. I barely did any makeup. Um, and then I learned over time and was interested in trying to kind of like explore all of these other ways of like enhancing your costume over time. So it was rough back then looking at some of those cosplays, but now I've improved. I know how to do better.
Believe me,
But
I look back on my old TikToks of Dean, and I'm like, I gotta delete this, but it's too cringe. Why did I leave it
no,
on
no,
there?
never delete it. Never. I don't delete. I have so much cringe stuff out, but I just don't care.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? No one's gonna scroll this far down and find it, so it's all good.
You never know. I like to do research on people.
Anyway, this next question is, how many cosplays have you done, and which one is your favorite?
God, so I don't know. Honestly, I can tell you for a fact. I recently recounted how many wigs I have, and I have about 36 wigs at home.
Cheats.
Maybe a little bit more. Oh, sorry, getting a call, so I'm gonna have to wait. 1 second. But yeah, I have about 36 wigs, and they are used not per one character. So like a lot of characters get the same wig, just like slightly restyled. Ugh, I don't even know how many characters I've cosplayed. It's a lot. It's honestly a lot. Cause also like like over a decade that I've been cosplaying, so there's a lot of characters. But I do have a few favorites. Like meme wise, I like my Vegeta that I do because like the wig is really cool. It's armor piece. It's kind of memey. And it is like I feel like more higher quality. And more harder of a build that I've done, but it was also a collaborative effort because I'm not a wig stylist, but I did commission a wig and I had a friend help me with the armor, so it was a very cool collaborative effort. So I like Vegeta for that because I've been wanting to do Vegeta for a while, and the wig always like scared me until I found like the person who was able to kind of like help me create the wig of my dreams. But also Alyssa from Tekken. She's my favorite girl. I built that whole thing from scratch. That's all my own handmade. It has LED lights inside that is kind of hard to see. There's only a few videos where you can like see it. Um, but it was definitely the coolest build, and I'm super proud of that work. But it's the hardest one to wear because the layering is very intense, and I need like literal like multiple people assisting me to get into that cosplay. So I don't wear it often, and I probably like outside of like the videos and photos that I took when I wore it, that's probably like the only existence I have of her. I might want to remake her eventually. But she was the craziest build, so I think those two are my most favorite. And I have to scroll back. And like recently, I did like the balloon Galacta, but I didn't like build this. So this was a collab again. Let's see. I'm trying to look what else. I like all of the cosplays I make. I don't have like I can tell you right now, I like all of the cosplays I've made, and there's not one cosplay where it's like, oh, I cosplayed it and I hated it because I don't know the character, or I actually don't watch the anime or something like that. Like there isn't one that I don't like. I like all of the work that I do. I feel like that's kind of the part of it. You
Yeah.
have to like it.
So there's no cosplay character that you're like, I'll never go back and do that again.
There is one. I hate wearing spoiler, and everybody constantly wants me to wear spoiler from the Bat family. So Stephanie Brown. Because I did not really care for the character, and I've made her again from scratch. Um, for as a like a group for New York Comic Con was looking to do a huge Bat family to get like as many different Bat family members, like Signal. We got like a lot of like other Bat family, and the only one was missing was Stephanie Brown, and I absolutely like ugh whatever. I don't really care for this character. Like I would rather be Nightwing or something, but they wanted me to be Stephanie Brown, and then as soon as I kind of created spoiler, all of these other groups were hitting me up when they were doing a Batman shoot to be like, oh, can you bring your spoiler? And I was like, oh my god, I was like trying to retire this cosplay and never wear it again, but now and then Every year there's always a group that's looking for a spoiler, and I'm, I guess, the nearest available spoiler. So that's the only one. Cause yeah, like she's alright. Like I don't mind her. It's just like I don't really care enough to wear her out. But I actually get like DMs for people to be like, "Oh, can you do another shoot with us?" No, unless someone needs me. I only bring her out. Like that's the one cosplay that I keep around, because in case there is a Batman family group that needs a spoiler, I'll come out. I'll wear her out. She's kind of like a courtesy wear.
All right. Next question then. How many cons have you been to? Which one is your favorite and least favorite?
God, again, so many. But I try to stay local because there's a lot of conventions across the United States. So I haven't been to every convention in the U.S. Um, like the iconic every year is like New York Comic Con, Anime NYC, Katsucon. Those are kind of like the bigger ones. But I always also try to hit up like the local stuff. So there's a lot of smaller, New York, Brooklyn, even some in Jersey and Connecticut or like Long Island that I hit up occasionally. Because all these like smaller cons, they feel very different compared to like New York Comic Con, for example, or Katsu, where like just the grandness of it and kind of like different environment. Like I can't, like I'm trying to compare and describe how those cons feel because it's very different. Like if you're never cosplayed before, I would recommend just checking out something local because it's less intimidating and scary, and everyone tends to be on the same level, where you're not kind of like overwhelmed by everybody. So I go to a lot of these because they're like fun and chill, and those are always like a lot more fun to like hang out with friends and also check out like more catered artists and more catered vendors versus like New York Comic Con where everything is huge, everything is booth, everything is advertisement. All these big companies are there trying to like push you to like here's new product, and at the same time you see all of these like big cosplayers with crazy builds walking around. So it could be a little more intimidating. But I have like I can go into my closet and pull out the all of the badges I have over the years if that's what you're interested in. You
Badges?
want you want me to show you all the badges of all the conventions that I've been to?
Sure, why not?
All right. Let me all right, enjoy my chair.
All right. Don't forget to spin
Actually,
it.
maybe this is better so you can like see all the cool shit.
Wow.
You
Okay.
tell me about your convention.
My convention?
Yeah.
Uh, I've only been to one, and it was like years and years ago before I ever started cosplaying. I was like in seventh grade, I think. My mom, she used to go to those things like regularly. She wasn't even a cosplayer, so she was going there for just to meet celebs and whatnot. And she just asked me like if I wanted to go one time, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Sounds fun. I went there and I just kind of kept to myself because I had no idea what the hell I was doing or who anyone was at the time.
Yeah, like this whole box is just full of badges. Got my ribbons. Yeah. Oh my god, all of these lanyards. There we go. Yeah, that's all of the cons that I've been to my entire life.
Wow, your entire life you haven't thrown a single one away.
Well, no, no, there's TwitchCon. I love TwitchCon a lot. So it's not like an anime convention. This is more for streaming specifically. But I think like that's my new favorite con. Um, I really enjoy that one. But I also like Anime NYC, although it is getting a little too expensive, at least like for my area. Because I'm just used to different pricing. Like if you've been going to cons like in I don't know mid 2000s, like I don't know 2011 per se, the pricing was way different. So now everything is like because it's kind of like cosplay is becoming more mainstream and like being an anime fan, like a geeky person, a nerd is not cool. So everybody's trying to like market to you and kind of like sell you all these cons. So it kind of varies, but yeah. So we have a lot. I have different ones. Like I've been to Drag Con. Yeah. There's Katsu. That one is also very fun. The usual like all of the yeah. There's like my Anime NYC ones. All of the New York Comic Cons. Just yeah, it's a
Was
lot.
was it
I
like
just
in
do a
Dead
lot.
characters?
Yes, because back then it was like sponsored heavily by Walking Dead.
Nice.
So you get all of these like Walking Dead ones. Yeah, so there's a lot. Yeah, FlameCon. Yeah, Anime Next. So yeah, so there's a whole box that I keep of all of my cons that I went to. So there's a lot. And again, it's hard for me to decide which con I like because I like them for different reasons. Like KatsuCon, which happens in like Baltimore area, it's like like Washington D.C., Maryland, I guess. That convention is not necessarily for voice acting or I don't know, going to artist styling things. That con is special because everybody who goes there brings their A game. So it's a time to like meet any big names like Jessica Nigri, Leon Chiro, anyone who's like anyone in the cosplay community, Stella Chu, whoever usually comes there and brings like insane builds. So like the reason you would go to KatsuCon is not to just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna wear my casual cosplay. You kind of want to bring your best cosplay there because that's where like it's like a fashion show of incredible cosplays. Um, so KatsuCon I like because of that. Like you see like the top craftsmanship at Katsu, and also great parties. So awesome parties in there. Then like Anime NYC I really like because to me it's like my home my home anime convention. Um, it's super anime catered. I really like all the artists that they have. Like Artist Alley there is absolutely incredible. And overall, like it's always like a good time for me to hang out with my friends and go to after parties. So to me, that kind I really like because it's local. It's also good because it has like huge sponsorships from like Crunchyroll and anybody else. Um, and there's I feel like enough to do if you are into like specifically anime and things like that. And then like TwitchCon, I like that one a lot, which is not necessarily like I cosplay to TwitchCon, but I was like me and like 20 other people were cosplaying. It wasn't a huge cosplay convention, but that con specifically they had artist alleys, but I like that because it was more video game catered, so and streaming obviously, and then there you get to kind of like engage and network more, so it's a little bit different again. And then like smaller conventions, I like that are local because they're more catering with like local artists, um, and also just like the shows there are better. Like you get to see a lot of local talent, and you get to really kind of like familiarize yourself with your local anime community or like that local anime community that you're going to. So in there, like oh, this is like I don't know, Tim Johns, the cosplayer, and he's like the local celebrity because he's like the one cosplayer in the area. So you get to like meet those kind of people. So I wouldn't say you can't just grade what convention is good or not because everyone's range is going to be different. Like for some people, it's like, is this accessible? Is this overcrowded? Is this con have tons of guests that I want to meet? So not necessarily every con will accommodate that. Oh, like Fed Expo, for example, in Philadelphia. That con is good if you want to meet celebrities. So they have a huge guest list. Um, so if you are someone who actively is looking to, I don't know, meet a voice actor or go to panels, that might be a good con for you. So every convention varies, and that's kind of what you have to look at because what are you trying to get out of the convention? Like, are you trying to get all your photos taken and hang out with friends? That's one thing. Are you trying to go to panels, become a voice actor, learn something, and do that kind of stuff? There's a different convention for that. So it's a range. So it's kind of hard to say like which cons I really like and whatnot because I like them all for different reasons.
Yeah. Believe me, I would love to go to another con now that I cosplay and whatnot, but expensive.
Expensive, but I feel like if like what would you like what would be your main reason to go to a convention? Like besides like, showing your cosplay off. But are you more into panels or do you want to like meet voice actors and celebrities or actors?
I think it'd be cool to meet some celebrities, but also, of course, I want to show off my cosplay, and I also want to have some friends join me. So that'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. So yeah, so like there's got to be cons that like adjust that. So I feel like if you're looking at it and the price, then can you justify the price for that? So like smaller local conventions would be like I don't know, like $30 for a weekend, maybe at most like 50, which I think is a reasonable price considering that like okay, so they have some local artists in there. There's gonna be some panels. There's gonna be a video game area usually, and you can probably go there with friends. So to me, paying like $30 or less a day to spend the weekend inside of a venue, I think that's pretty worthy.
Yeah. I had the chance to go to had the opportunity, I should say, to go to PAX West one time. This was years ago. My brother and his friends were going to go, and I was thinking of joining. It was the last weekend of summer though, and I had a summer job at the time,
Mm,
and it was also the busiest weekend of the year,
oof,
so
oof.
they couldn't let me get off. And I was like, damn it.
Mm. Yeah, like I mean, also that con probably is like pretty crazy.
Yeah, my brother went, and he said like he'd probably never do it again. It's just a one-time thing.
Okay, yeah. So for some people, it's like that. It's like going to Disney. You can go once, you don't have to go again, or you can get addicted and go every year.
Well, I gotta go again. I haven't been there since I was like 4. My mom loves to
Yeah,
tell
that's not. I was like, what?
my mom loves to tell me about the trip all the time, and I'm like, I don't remember a thing from
Yeah,
Disneyland.
exactly. I would say like I don't know. For Disney, it's worth it when you're like I don't know, 12 and up, so you can remember what the heck is going on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'll move on to the next question then. Do you
Yeah.
prefer to buy or make your own cosplays?
Either or depends on the thing. Sometimes it's just easier to buy cosplay, especially if it's like a character that has over complicated stuff. But I think personally for me, it's always fun to make it. Like, again, depends on the genre of the cosplayer you are. If you're someone who's like, I have a convention in a week. I gotta build this stuff, and you're gonna con crunch. Maybe you're not gonna enjoy making everything yourself. But if you're someone who likes to explore new tools and new methods and you want to like enhance your crafting skills, it's fun to make yourself. So for me it's whatever. It's either or. Like if the price is justifiable, I occasionally, well, I would say like half of my cosplay is made, half of my cosplay is bought. um but also like my reasoning for buying a cosplay is like I will buy cosplay if I can see myself wearing it multiple times. I don't buy usually a cosplay for just like a shoot and then like throw away or donate or something like that because that's kind of wasteful.
Yeah.
So if in that sense it's like, oh, if I'm trying to like make a group and a one-time thing, I would rather make it or like assemble it from stuff that I already have. Because some characters you can kind of do that and like build the accessories and props. So that way you're not really creating a lot of waste. So it kind of depends on the situation. But if I am buying a cosplay, I hope to wear it more than once.
Yeah. I've never crafted my own. I've always just bought them pre-made.
Mm.
And I remember one time I made a post wearing my NCR cosplay, which is all
Mm-hmm.
bought, and someone was asking me like, "Oh man, how'd you make that stuff?" And I went, "Oh, I didn't make it. I bought it off of like Amazon,
I
Facebook,
mean,
and
there's
shit."
no shame.
And
There's no shame in
this
that.
guy responded with, "Oh, what a loser! The real cosplayers make their stuff." And I was like,
No, I think there's
"Damn,
no shame. There's no shame in buying. Honestly, it is kind of amazing that we have accessibility. Again, like when I started cosplaying, you had to make a lot of your stuff. Like the only thing you could buy is like a wig and like maybe like that's it. Nothing was like you don't have Mick costumes, you don't have easy cosplay, you don't have Amazon. Um, and cosplaying was much bigger, I think, in Japan. So like on eBay, you can try to like get a cosplay, but you have no idea what's gonna come. Like my first cosplay is I still have it. It's my Organization 13 coat that I got for Halloween because I was gonna cosplay Shion from Kingdom Hearts 3, like 358/2 days, that one. And that one, because I was like, I can't find the coat and I did not have a sewing machine, so like all of the cosplays I make, I don't use a sewing machine. I make it by hand, like hand stitching, which I don't mind. It takes like forever, but that way, like if there's a con coming up, I need to prepare myself for how long it's gonna take. But that jacket, I still have to this day, so it's super old, and I got it on eBay for like $40, and I had no idea what was gonna come. Like there was a chance that this could have been like a garbage bag that came in, but it was actually super nice quality and really really great. And everybody keeps asking me about this coat. I was like, you have to go back in time and go on eBay to buy it off some random dude there. um, but that was like my Halloween that eventually turned into like actual like not Halloween costume no more, but actual like cosplay that I've been occasionally re-wearing and restyling constantly. But there's no shame. I don't think it makes you less of a cosplayer if you're buying your stuff, because you gotta start somewhere, and having the access, like there's nothing wrong with having things more accessible. I think it's more again like, are you trying to cosplay because it's trendy or not? And like that's kind of what I would say makes you more of a cosplayer or not. It's like, are you doing this for the trend, for the likes, for the views, for the fame? Because in the end of the day, cosplaying I think should be more like from the heart. Like it brings you joy. So like if you're stressed about your cosplay, because of those reasons, then maybe you're not in it for the right reasons. But buying, building, or even just like thrifting, there's nothing wrong with thrifting or buying secondhand cosplay. Or collabing with somebody who might be a prop maker or like a wig stylist. Like there's all these ways of doing and bringing a cosplay together that, just because you did it different and not necessarily all handmade, hand patterned, hand glued, and hand sewn, that doesn't make you less of a cosplayer. Same with people who are do like swimsuit cosplay or whatever, or casual cosplay. That's a thing. Casual cosplay is one way to bring a character, like, or do like alternate universe, like mashups and things like that. Like get creative. You could do whatever you want. It's a character.
Yeah. Um, what you said about buying that jacket off that one dude from years ago, it's kind of because I have the same situation. My NCR Ranger cosplay, four of the pieces came from Amazon, and then I have this chest plate that I found just randomly one day on Facebook, and I was like, oh, sick! Only like $20 for the thing. I was like, yeah, why not?
Yes, amazing deal, exactly. Like, one person's trash is another person's treasure. So,
Yeah,
and that's also like a good way to not create more waste. So, because like there is a huge like issue with like clothing waste that comes from like how popular cosplay became.
all right. Well, next question is, who's your favorite cosplayer?
All my friends. All of my friends, honestly. I mean, obviously, like I have so many talented friends. I don't know, like on top of my head, like Sir Julius cosplay. He's incredible crafter. He makes a lot of like armor kind of stuff, which is really cool. But also, he's someone who has an access, for example, to like 3D printer, where he can build a lot of things, and he himself also like makes all the models and assemblies. So to me, that's like super insane. Obviously, like Jessica Nigri, she's been crafting for years, but she also has like a whole team that helps brings bring cosplays together. So Yaya Han, like all of the legends, like Yaya Han, in her own way, also, she pioneered making cosplay more accessible because I don't know if you know, but she had a line of cosplay fabrics and cosplay accessories, and Warbla, like she's the one who kind of like brought Warbla into the stores, like trying to think of like which one was it, Joanne's. Like Joanne started selling Warbla because of and like fabrics because of her for like specifically cosplay. So she also helped kind of like bring that into becoming more accessible because Warbla back then was like so expensive. Now it's like very commonly used. So, pioneering the crafts into the public eye. So just on top of the head, but a lot of like my other friends like Synaptic Seams, she hand sews all of her cosplay, beautiful gowns, literally like movie accurate cosplays. So if you're looking to see like Daenerys brought from the screen to life, she's an incredible crafter. So that's just like on like a bit on top of my head, but I have a lot of friends who like wig specific, talented. Everybody who I've met through the cosplay community, I would say like they're my inspiration because I see how much they progressed over the years and I see how much they improved and how their craft evolved over time. So all of these people constantly inspire me and constantly want me to like do more and also like kind of like follow their lead a little bit.
Yeah, very nice. Any future cosplays in the making? If yes, then who?
Uh, I'm trying to think. I have a secret big build. It's a meme cosplay. It's not even like a character. It's gonna be another sprite, like Sprite Chan. So that one, I do plan to do like a pretty big build for it. I don't want to spoil it, but I also have like this year. I want to focus more on like the artsy way. So like more artsy ways of cosplay because I have some what I call lazy cosplays. It's where I pull some shit out of my closet, put on the wig, and style it a little, and then it's like close enough. But I want to get a little more artsy and a little bit more creative. So I have Momo from Dan Dan that I have a specific vision focused on more like the makeup and like alt culture behind it. So it's gonna be an artsy take on Momo. Hopefully, it's gonna look good. I already did a balloon cosplay with Galacta, which was like a long thing in the making. Again, it's collaboration because I really want to collab more with like artists and like different creators this year. Um, and I'm trying to think of if I have I do have a semi build. It's very small, but I'm constantly upgrading already existing cosplay that I have. So there's gonna be a new version of Tails from Sonic. That's gonna be happening in the spring. There's gonna be also upgraded like Dead by Daylight characters. There's gonna be some horror characters. So a lot of the characters I'm doing is just like you already seen them, but I'm trying to upgrade them a little bit more through special effects, makeup, more wig styling, more accessorizing. So it's just constantly evolving. So I wouldn't say I have a huge build this year because I don't think I have a con that I'm thinking of wearing a big build to. Yeah, unless it's Mantis. That's the only one. I really want to do Mantis from Marvel Rivals. So that might be my big build in the end of the year. For like New York Comic Con or like Anime NYC. Maybe I'll do that.
You want to do Mantis, not Jeff the Shark?
No, I want to be Mantis. She's my girl. Also, Jeff the Shark could be really easy. You just buy the inflatable like suit
Oh
of
yeah.
Shark, and then you just put a collar on it. So you can just do that, or
Yeah.
you can do the gender bend like version where it's just like literally like a shark onesie with a blue wig.
Yeah, that's the one I saw someone else do.
Yeah, there's already one of those. So I want to do Mantis probably. So that's that.
All right. Has anyone ever recommended a cosplay that you what?
I don't
Type.
know. You wrote
I
that.
wrote a typo. Has anyone ever recommended a cosplay that, when asked, you went, "No way, I'm not doing that"?
Yeah, Power Girl, all the time, all the time. Power Girl. You've seen her. You know who she is.
I I think she's a superhero, isn't she?
Yeah, look her up. Look up Power Girl right now.
All right. All right.
Yeah, yeah. You see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Constantly, constantly being asked to cosplay her.
And you're just like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
No,
I can understand why.
no.
This
I don't.
this can't be an
I
actual
don't have any
character,
passion for
right?
her. It is. It is. It is. And that's the whole meme. The whole meme behind her of the lore is that the publishing DC Comics gave zero shits about the character. So the people who are like drawing her, they're like, let's see how big we can make her boobs before someone realizes that. And that's how we end up with her. Literally because nobody gave a shit. And then they're like, oh god, too far. We pushed it to the limit.
Yeah. Can't wait to see her get her own movie. It's gonna
I think there's
backfire.
one in the works, I think. I heard probably at some point.
It's
But
gonna backfire.
nothing personal. It's just like I am like out of DC characters. I she's not a character I'm interested in, and like mostly the reason people want me to cosplay is because like oh you fit the build, and I don't want to cosplay character just because I fit the build.
Jesus. All right. Well, that's why you just gotta reach out to those people and be like, "Listen, let me tell you about Jesus." All right.
No, nothing again. I have some friends who cosplay Power Girls and they look amazing. It's just again, it's not me, and I do not. I prefer to cosplay characters that I have some kind of passion for, even a little bit. Because like again, even with like Stephanie Brown, like I went and I did research. Like I looked her up. I wanted to get familiar with the character. Um, again, and then I appreciate her, but I don't have too much passion for her. And I think same with this. Like I just don't. I just don't care, so I don't want to do it.
Have you entered a wow, English? Have you ever entered a cosplay competition?
No. So personally, I did not because I don't like competing. I craft for me strictly. I was a judge on a couple of cosplay contests, before because like someone who crafts and everything, so I can kind of like analyze and judge it. Um, But I personally don't like competing. It is not something I'm particularly interested. I just like to like casually. I call it casually enjoying the hobby, but it's a lie, right? Because I make content and like people come in. I put stuff out on Patreon, so I feel like I can't say I'm casually cosplaying because there is like some kind of value behind it. But in the end of the day, I just want to enjoy what I'm wearing versus professionals analyzing my craftsmanship, because not necessarily the stuff I do is like the best craftsmanship ever. But it has to be enough for me that I like it, and if someone like recognizes me, I'm pretty be like, "Oh my god, I love this cosplay." I can be like, "Yeah, thanks, I made it." So I have not competed. I have friends who have competed, but I just not in the competitive scene. I don't like competing.
Okay.
I like walking around in
But
cosplay.
you've been a judge at one? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I've judged a couple. I like at this one Microsoft event, I was a judge for like the at that time it was a new Assassin's Creed, the Egypt Assassin's Creed. So I was a cosplay judge for that. They had like a few local people coming in, and it was really cool to see like some people trying out cosplay, like either from assembly or full on build, and there was a person who also like did buy their cosplay of Amazon. So that's a little disqualifying because if you're entering a competition, you do need to at least partially make it, depending on the rules. So you either make everything or at least like 50% of it needs to be made. Um, so I was a judge on that, and there was another like gaming convention. I think it was called Brooklyn Con or something like that, and in there I was also a judge on the panel with more craftier people also than me, but in there again you needed to make sure that you kind of like build most of your cosplay in order to qualify. So I was a judge there. So we look a lot of like the craftsmanship and process. So if you are someone who is thinking of entering and competing, because there is like a monetary price usually behind those, you do need to show process. So you need to like show how you created what you did. So like you need to make sure that you're actively recording your process from photo evidence to video. So that way, besides of just like close up, obviously like you'll all the judges usually examine close ups of like different craftsmanship and different methods. Um, that's how it's judged. Like there was a huge case I think a few years ago, maybe like 2 years or last year, where like a person who built cosplay armor felt like they deserved first place over a person who sewed like a dress. But they also need to realize that like the tiering of judging is very different. So like you need to not only just be able to perfect one skill, for example, like armor making, but you will rate higher if you're also like making your own pattern, doing different sewing techniques, doing different like techniques in general for the assembly. So it's also important to like not be a sore loser mentality when you're competing in these, because a lot of people do feel kind of like entitled when they compete. So and I wouldn't want to be in the same room with them.
Fair enough. Have you ever made your own original character?
Oh, constantly. Soda Chan. This is not original character.
That's a good point.
Sprite Chan. Yeah, all the time. I mean, that's kind of like fun. The fun part of it is like making your own character. I'm trying to think of like who else. I have a bunch of my OCs that I occasionally cosplay. Um, I mean, that's something that doesn't really necessarily give you more views unless you're building like an insane. Again, like the thing with OCs is that like it's harder because you have to craft more yourself, because there isn't a cosplay out there of your original character. You have to, do it yourself. So obviously, it heavily relies on your design skills and how fun your character looks. But I have a lot of OCs that I've cosplayed myself because it's fun. It's fun. You make your own character. But I usually just do mashups and like um, gajinkas is what it's called, where you take like non-human characters and you make them human. So that technically is original character at that point, because it has to be similar to the original source, but it is different because you're making it human. So like Pokemon gajinkas is usually pretty popular, and I would qualify them as OCs to a degree.
All right. Yeah, my Ranger cosplay. I don't know why I was thinking this, but when I bought him, I didn't want it to just be a generic Ranger from Fallout. So I wrote an entire book. I'll say it's a fan fiction based in the Fallout New Vegas universe,
That
And
was fun.
I've never published it because I was like, this is cringe beyond belief.
You gotta stop with the cringe mentality because otherwise you will never break out into like this kind of hobby if you keep worrying about what other people think.
Yeah, but I guarantee if I sent you a copy of it, you'd be like, yeah.
You gotta start somewhere. Like you gotta write 20 cringe novels before you become a good writer.
It's fair enough.
So you gotta start. You gotta make some shitty cosplays before you become a good cosplayer.
All right. Well, speaking of that advice, what advice would you give people who are just now getting into the cosplaying scene?
That one, I get. I mean, I have like occasional like questions. I was like ask me whatever, and majority of them was like, I'm new to cosplaying. How do I start? You just start. It's very hard to it's very hard to describe, but you just start. You just gotta do it because otherwise you're never gonna do it. So, and it doesn't have to like important again. The mentality is like, oh my god, is this cringe? Is this are people gonna like laugh at me or like take pictures of me and like send it to their like friend group and be like, oh my god, look at this loser or whatever. You have to move away from that mentality. And just get in and do it. And ideally, like, if you ideally like obviously you can buy cosplay of like the character that you want to cosplay if that's what makes you comfortable rather than like crafting it because you feel so intimidating by the crafting aspect of it. Um, or you can start easy, like again, like Halloween exists. That's like the great time to tip your toes into cosplaying because it's like appropriate time. Versus like anytime I go on the shoot or like if I'm going to a con and I use public transport, there's all those people who are like, "Oh, it's not Halloween. Why are you dressed like that?" So like if you're not scared of people making comments like this at you, um, then like that's something that you gotta get over. And yeah, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's another like mentality. I feel like we envision how we want to see the character on us, and then when you're just like like this is like the magic a little bit of it. You're probably familiar since you cosplay too, but sometimes like when you see all the pieces that you're putting together before it goes on you, you're kind of like, oh, this looks like ass. Like this is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna look so bad. I don't want to do it. But once you like put everything on and then like for me it's like I do the makeup, I do the wig styling, it like comes alive, and that's where I was like, you know what, why did I think it was gonna look bad? I look awesome. And then I step out, and then in the end of the day you probably like actually more people think it's like, wow, that's so freaking cool, versus people who are like, oh my god, why does this person look like a weirdo? Than ever. Like I legit like for like I did Piccolo. He's like the artist who did like Casualty and Titans. I did Raven, and I painted my body gray, and I took public transport to get to the convention. And on the way, there was literally like a group of like I don't know 14-year-olds who were like, "Oh my god, it's Raven and Beast Boy," and like knowing that, it's like, okay, see, these kids get it. Like that, like me in the wild, they don't know I'm going to a convention. They don't know there's a convention going on, but I just made their day by just like existing, looking weird. Versus like probably someone's like grandma or like some dude bro who like probably saw me on the train and was like, you know. So to me, that interaction was way more valued than just like, oh, someone's gonna like make something weird, some weird comment on me. So like getting away from that mentality and getting more comfortable. And also like another thing is like when you're cosplaying, you're kind of like Batman. Nobody knows who you are. They're not gonna be like, it's Jim from The Office, like they're not. They don't know who you are. So I feel like you can get away with feeling insecure because it's not you. Like you're not actually presenting yourself as like yourself. You're presenting a character. So it's important to remember that like in the end of the day, you're gonna be Naruto. You're gonna be I don't know like Harley Quinn. You're gonna be whoever, and not oh, it's Nikki who has a day job who works this. In the end of the day, so you can kind of embody and enjoy that moment more rather than feeling like, oh god, like what if someone sees me? They're not gonna recognize you. You'll be surprised. They don't know who you are. People will not recognize you. So just doing it, honestly, doing it and not kind of necessarily expecting perfection, but ensuring that you are enjoying yourself in the costume. I think that's what's important to focus on. So if you're new, like in order to start, just pick a character that you like and that you feel like do you want to embody and just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, you said it, Shia LaBeouf.
There's no other way to put it, because that's what I did when like I first started. I was, outside of Halloween, it was really weird to wear a costume when like before I went to my first convention. But all it took is like it was me and like four other friends, and we're like, all right, we're all gonna dress up and we're all gonna go together. So by doing that and like meeting in the location, like yeah, being in the car with like whoever's like driving me was a little bit weird, but once I was at the con with my friends all dressed up, seeing other people also dressed up, you don't feel like the as anxious as you were on the way there. And anything that I had like doubts of, like, I don't know, this is silly, I look stupid, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. As soon as you're entering that place, you're like, oh, never mind, this is actually kind of awesome. And then you go around handing like compliments and being like, oh my god, it's Deadpool or whoever. So it changes once you step into the convention and you step into doing cosplaying. So um doing it by yourself is always scary, so it's great if you have friends who are willing to do that step with you.
Yeah, that's where I
But
fell off.
yeah, I mean, for me it's like Halloween, like it's a great opportunity with like you and friends be like, let's do a group cosplay, and you do it for Halloween as a costume. And then after that, like, if there's a con, the more you do it, the less intimidated you are. And then, it's off from there.
Yeah, I had a friend who wanted to do a con, and she wanted to get some friends together so they could go as the Lethal Company characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what happened with that because she never got back to me on it. So
No.
it's okay though. Probably would have been a character I've only would have cosplayed once.
Yeah, so there you go. Well, pick a character that you want to cosplay more.
Exactly. That's why I've got myself narrowed down to 5 right now.
Okay, that's good.
Because if I branch out more, I'm gonna eventually one cosplay is gonna collect dust, and I don't need that happening.
Also, it's good to pick characters that you can kind of see normal clothes in as well. So, like for example, Seto Kaiba. At least for me, the only thing that makes him Seto for me is the wig and his jacket. But literally, the belt I can reuse. The turtleneck is literally a turtleneck that I wear occasionally to work and things like that. And the pants and the shoes are things that I wear every day. So it's not necessarily dust collecting because I can take him apart and wear him casually every day without it being like, oh, that's only Seto Kaiba like clothes right there. So you can still cosplay using clothes that you already have and assemble characters that way. That way you're not feeling like, oh, like this is an outfit for only for this purpose.
Makes sense. Well, that's all the questions that I had written down. So,
All
swag.
right.
This up
Well, hope that answered everything.
pretty much. Thank you, audience, for joining me for this episode, and thank you, NikiMuffin, for joining me. It's
Of
been
course.
awesome having you on.
I'm glad.
Don't forget to follow her on her social medias: TikTok, Twitch,
Instagram. Twitch, please. I need more people on Twitch.
maybe YouTube. I don't know. Anyway,
We'll see. I am this close to make like those like long like what is this like analysis videos.
analysis of
So
what?
maybe. Well, that's like the popular stuff. I have a lot of opinions on a few things. So
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, I'm this close.
Fair enough.
I'm this close to making like a narrative-driven video, but
Hey,
we'll
man,
see.
those videos get a lot of views, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm not here for the views. I'm here to voice my opinions. So.
That too.
Whether it's correct or incorrect.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining me, and I will see you all next time.